What if your wedding day became the day you took your power back? Since I was 6, I dreamed about my wedding day. I would drape white curtains around my shoulders, pretending they were lace, and walk barefoot across the yard, the cold morning dew pressing into my skin like blessings from the sky. My mother would peek through the kitchen window, smiling softly, while my father would clap and say, "Look at our princess." In my dreams, there was always music, the gentle strum of violins, and flower petals swirling around me like tiny prayers. I imagined love would be simple and pure, the kind that made you feel safe and chosen, the kind that built a home on faith and laughter. That dream carried me through high school heartbreaks, college loneliness, and the heavy silence of growing up alone in a city that swallowed dreams. I whispered prayers at night, asking God to send me a man who would love me gently, who would stand by me, who would see me. And then I met Adrian. He wasn't the loudest in the room, but he was the most present. We met in Barcelona at a sustainability summit, both of us young professionals with hearts full of plans and idealism. We were on a rooftop one night after the conference, city lights twinkling below, and he asked if he could pray for me. His words were soft, sincere, grounding. It was in that moment I thought, maybe this is him. We spent hours talking about faith, about the kind of family we wanted, about the small, quiet life we would build with Saturday morning pancakes and Sunday worship. Adrian made me feel seen, like I was safe enough to dream out loud. When we returned home, we kept talking. Long calls that stretched into dawn, sleepy laughter, planning futures we hadn't fully lived yet, but wanted to. And when he proposed a year later under the stars, I said yes without hesitation, believing that love was enough to conquer anything. I didn't know that Adrian came with Lady Eleanor. Lady Eleanor was his mother, but to Adrian, she was everything. She had 3 daughters, each beautiful and accomplished, but it was Adrian who was her miracle child after years of miscarriages and bed rest and whispered prayers at dawn. Adrian was her purpose, her second chance, her identity. The first time I met her, she wore pearls and a crisp lavender dress, her perfume floral and suffocating, her eyes assessing me like I was a project she needed to dismantle and rebuild. "So, you're the girl who has my Adrian's attention," she said, her words sweet but sharp. I tried to smile, to win her over, to be the daughter-in-law who would be loved. Later, Adrian hugged me, kissed my forehead, and said, "She's just protective. She'll love you, you'll see." I wanted to believe him, but the subtle takeover began before I realized it. She came over often, checking in on us, dropping off baskets of vegetables I never asked for, rearranging my kitchen, because it would be easier for Adrian. She would critique the meals I cooked, replacing spices with her own, telling me, "Adrian likes it this way." She came to our church, standing beside Adrian, her hand in the crook of his arm while I walked behind them, feeling like a shadow in my own relationship. She criticized my dresses, said they were too bold, too bright, too loud. She even bought me muted-colored cardigans, saying, "These are more appropriate for a future wife." And Adrian would just smile, squeeze my hand, and whisper, "She means well." I told myself to pick my battles. I told myself that love was about compromise, about family, about understanding. But inside, something was shrinking. Something was quietly screaming. Then 2 months before Adrian proposed, I found out I was pregnant. It wasn't planned, it wasn't the right time, but part of me was excited. Part of me thought this would be a bond, a small miracle, a reason for all of us to come together. When I told Adrian, he was quiet, tears in his eyes, holding me tightly. "God will see us through," he whispered. 6 weeks later, I lost the baby. I wept in the bathroom, alone, feeling empty and guilty, my dreams crumbling around me like dry leaves. Lady Eleanor found out. She called me, her voice cold, saying, "I knew it. You're too fragile. Adrian deserves someone who can give him a child." That was the first time I hung up on her. I didn't tell Adrian what she said. When Adrian proposed, it was beautiful. Fairy lights on a quiet beach, the ocean whispering, the stars like blessings. I said yes, tears in my eyes, hoping the worst was behind us, hoping that she would see I loved her son enough to stay. The wedding planning began. At first, it was exciting, choosing colors, venues, imagining the day I had dreamed of since I was 6. Then Lady Eleanor took over. She didn't ask, she decided. She changed the colors I had chosen for the bridesmaids, saying these are too loud for a wedding. She replaced the caterer with someone she knew, saying they'll understand our family's needs. She even went behind my back to change the florist, choosing muted pastels instead of the vibrant flowers I loved. "It's for the best," Adrian said, kissing my forehead, not meeting my eyes. I felt like a guest at my own wedding, Then came the dress fitting. We were supposed to go together. Just me and Adrian, to pick out the dress I had dreamed about since I was a little girl. I was nervous and excited, imagining lace and soft tulle, imagining the moment I would see myself as a bride. But when we arrived, Lady Alina was there, stepping out of the car in her pearls, her eyes sharp. "She just wants to help," Adrian said, squeezing my hand. Inside the boutique, I tried on dress after dress. Soft lace against my skin, delicate beading, flowing veils. For a moment, I felt like that 6-year-old girl again, full of dreams. Then her voice cut through. "Too revealing. Not modest enough. Doesn't flatter you." She clicked her tongue, shaking her head, dismissing me with a glance. Adrian stood there, silent. I couldn't breathe. I told them I needed air, stepping out of the boutique, tears streaming down my face. The next morning, a delivery man came with a large white box. Inside was a heavy, high-necked, long-sleeved satin gown, plain and stiff, nothing like what I wanted. On top was a note. "Wear this, it will match Adrian's suit. Love, Mother Alina." I stared at it, anger and grief swirling inside me. Adrian called saying, "She's just trying to help." That night, I sat on my bedroom floor, the dress hanging in the closet like a ghost, suffocating me. Marla, my best friend, found me there, tears streaming down my face. "She can't control everything, Sierra. I don't know how to stop her." "Yes, you do." That night, an envelope slid under my apartment door. Inside was a single sheet of paper. "She plans to move in with you after the wedding. Check Adrian's bank account." My heart raced as I opened Adrian's laptop, finding the statements. Every month, money was going to Lady Alina's account, marked home savings. When I confronted Adrian, he sighed. "She's saving for us." But I knew she was saving to move in, to continue controlling us forever. My father fell ill around that time, and I spent days in the hospital with him. I watched him hold my mother's hand, even in pain, whispering prayers over her, smiling softly as she read to him. I saw love there, real messy protective love. "You deserve to be loved like this, Sierra," my dad whispered. 2 weeks before the wedding, I found a small boutique on the edge of town. There in the corner was a black silk gown, flowing and soft, shimmering under the light like midnight. I tried it on, the fabric hugging me like a promise. "Bold, beautiful, mine." Marla's eyes widened when she saw me. "You're really going to wear that?" "Yes." "Are you ready for the storm this will bring?" "I am the storm." The night before the wedding, Lady Alina showed up uninvited. "You will wear the dress I sent." "No. You will not embarrass this family." "Watch me." She glared at me, her eyes cold. "I will ruin you." I smiled. "You can try." On the morning of the wedding, I wore jeans and a white t-shirt, drinking coffee as Marla did my hair. Lady Alina barged into the room, her perfume thick in the air, her lips pressed tight. "You're not dressed." "He'll wait." When the music started, I stepped into the aisle, dressed in black. Gasps echoed through the room, whispers like buzzing bees, phones lifted to capture the moment. Lady Alina's face turned pale, her mouth open. Adrian's eyes widened, hurt and confusion battling in his gaze. I walked slowly, deliberately, each step reclaiming every part of me I had given away for peace. Lady Alina rushed toward me, grabbing my arm. "You will not do this." My father stepped forward, standing between us. "Touch my daughter again, and I will remove you myself." She stepped back, her eyes filled with rage. The priest's voice shook as he began the ceremony. "Sierra, do you take?" "Wait." Silence fell. I turned to Adrian, looking into the eyes of the man I once thought would protect me. "Do I take you?" Adrian's eyes filled with tears. "Sierra, please." I shook my head, a calm settling over me. "I need a man who will choose me, not his mother." Adrian fell to his knees, sobbing. "I can't let her go." And in that moment, I saw him clearly. A man who would always choose his mother, who would never see me. I turned, handed my bouquet to Marla, and walked away. Each step was freedom. In my father's truck, we drove away, the town disappearing behind me. "Proud of you, princess," my dad whispered, his hand warm over mine. I leaned back, watching the sky, letting the weight fall off my shoulders. The next morning, sunlight streamed through gauzy curtains. My mother handed me coffee, sitting beside me in silence. "You shocked them all," she said finally, a small smile on her lips. "Good." My phone buzzed with messages. "You were brave. You did the right thing. You inspired me." Even Adrian texted. "I'm sorry, I love you." I didn't reply. I took off the engagement ring, placing it in a small box. I looked in the mirror, seeing the woman who once dreamed of walking down the aisle, believing it was the only way to find love. Now I saw a woman who had chosen herself. No regrets. No fear. Just freedom. Because sometimes, your wedding day isn't the beginning of forever with someone else. Sometimes, it's the beginning of forever with yourself. Months passed, each sunrise a quiet promise that I was rebuilding piece by piece. I moved into a small cottage by the lake, spending mornings journaling, sipping tea, feeling the softness of living a life that was mine. I went to therapy, unpacking the places where I had learned to silence myself to keep peace, the wounds I had hidden beneath smiles, the fear of disappointing everyone but myself. I found laughter again in small things, cooking with friends, dancing barefoot to old songs, reading under warm blankets. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since college, letting colors speak when words couldn't. One evening, as the sun sank in a blaze of gold over the lake, I stood on the porch, breathing in the cool air, and I felt it, a quiet, deep, unshakable peace. I realized I wasn't waiting for someone to complete me anymore. I was already whole. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more stories.